everyone, I'm Katie Bertrand with So Cute by Katie, and today I'm going to be making a pillow from a t-shirt. We have made a t-shirt quilt. I'll show you here. This is the finished product. I know you can't really see all of it, but how I like to do my t-shirt quilts is I actually back them with polar fleece, so they're really soft and snuggly, and they're great to use on the couch, you know, wrap up in, versus one with a cotton batting or cotton back and the actual quilt batting that are a little bit stiffer, that look really good on a bed. So I like to make mine with polar fleece. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, I actually have a course you can purchase on my website, which is socutebykatie.com, and just click on the online classes tab and you'll find the t-shirt quilt class there. So for this particular quilt, we used 25 t-shirts, which is a really good size, so you can have 5 across and 5 down. But our client had one extra t-shirt they wanted to use, so they decided they would like a pillow with it. So I thought this would be a great time to show you guys how to do that. So let's get started. So this is our t-shirt, and when I'm cutting t-shirts, oops, let me get this all out of the bobbin out of the way. When I am cutting my t-shirts for the quilt and for the pillow, I have an actual quilt template that I like to use, that I have purchased. So I've got a window right here that I'm going to lay on the t-shirt, and then this fits right in front of it, and then I remove this and then I can cut around it, because as you can see right here, it's got a nice thickness to it. So if you've never done any quilting or anything like that, these are great for what they call fussy cutting. And fussy cutting is putting that little frame over a specific area. You know, if there's a design or an image on your fabric that you're wanting to get aligned just right, these little templates are great. You don't have to use this. You can use a ruler. Again, this is another quilting ruler that I like. It is, how long is this? 24 inches by 8.5. It's got your clear grids, and then you can use like a marking pen, you know, an invisible ink, just something you can draw your line and then cut on it. They also make a plastic template for t-shirts as well, so that you can have different sizes, and so it just depends on how often you're going to be doing this, what kind of supplies you want to invest in. So I'm going to show you how I lay this out. So I'm going to turn this t-shirt around. Now, we have a front and a back. So I do not want to lay my template out and just cut it, because I may end up cutting the part of the design on the back. And what did I do with my scissors? Hold on. Of course, they're on the edge of the table where they don't need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut right down the sides of my t-shirt so that I can open it up flat for the front and the back. Let me just go ahead and do that. And if you're making a t-shirt quilt, you're going to want to open it up down the sides if you are using front and back images, so that you can frame out exactly what you need to use. That way you're not cutting into a design on the back when you cut the front. So just cut that open. Flip it around, do the other side seam here. And there's actually not even a seam on the t-shirt, so I'm just cutting kind of where it's the fold crease is. And I'm just kind of cutting right into that sleeve, because that's just going to be thrown in the trash. We don't care. Okay, so now we have our t-shirt, so we can lay out front and back designs. Okay, so I'm going to lay this out nice and smooth. Okay, so we want to take our window template, and I'm going to just lay it right around my image. Now this image is actually pretty large, and I'm going to angle the camera down just a little bit so you all can see the table a little bit better. Okay. So you can see this design really fills up this window. So if you had a smaller design, you want to kind of just make it, you know, get even amount of space, you know, top and bottom and sides as best as possible. So this one fills up the entire template, so we're going to be like right on it. So I will lay this piece that fits right in the center and then on it, and then remove this, the outer window, and now I'll be able to use my rotary cutter and cut around it. Now, if you are using a ruler, you will need to decide what size square you're using. I'm using a 15-inch window template. So if you wanted to make it 16 or 18, just depending on the size of your t-shirt, you can do that. But you want to draw your line, and then I would turn the ruler, you know, to get a straight across, you know, your center points, and kind of line that up, and then draw your other sides, and then connect your tops and bottoms. So now I'm going to use my rotary cutter. Hold on, gotta get the safety off. And I'm going to cut right up against that. Make sure that press hard enough, get those little threads. And I'll post a link in the comments where you can get these window templates, because you can get all kinds of different sizes and shapes. They're really nice, especially if you do a lot of other quilting. Okay. And now we have a lovely square. Got a little tiny thread that didn't cut. And now we'll cut the other side. Do the same thing. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure this is straight top and bottom. I've got a little bit of gray space, so I'm trying to make sure that that looks even. And then we'll put our window back in. Remove the outer window, and we will cut. Yeah, these templates are really awesome. They are from a company called Martelli. Even the cutting table that I'm using is from them, which I absolutely love because it is electric and is adjustable up and down and tilts, which is really nice, especially for people like myself that are vertically challenged. Okay, so now I have my two pieces cut, and I want to make sure I have right sides, you know, the right side of the design, you know, facing up. This is the tops, and I'm going to put right sides together. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so just a really tiny seam allowance, because that way we don't sew too much into the design. Okay, pin this, and I like to put my pins in the way that I'm sewing, so as I come, if I'm sewing right here, I can pull that pin right out. I don't use a ton of pins, but when I do, that's how I like to do it. So it's facing that presser foot as it's heading to it, and then I can just pull it out real easy. Now we want to leave an opening for the stuffing, and it doesn't have to be huge. If you're using a pillow form, then you probably do want it to be a little bit larger, so it's a little bit easier to put in. So I'm using polyfill, so I'm using, you know, enough for my hand to go in there. So I'm putting 2 pins right here. That's just marking that I'm going to start here, go all the way around, and then I will stop at my other pin. So I'm going to take this over to the machine, and we're going to be using our polyfill to stuff it. So let's get that out of the way. I'm starting at that first pin, and I'll take a couple stitches and then we will back stitch to lock that in so it doesn't start pulling apart. I'm also going to use my needle down button so that when I get to my corner, my needle is already down. If you don't have that feature, go ahead and use your hand wheel and put the needle down, and then raise your presser foot and swing the material around. Again, I'm just using 1/4 inch seam allowance. And swing the material around, needle down, and raise your presser foot. My sewing machine will raise up just a tiny bit for that purpose. Coming back around to this last pin, I'm going to do a little back stitch. Go ahead and cut that thread. Okay. Oh, and I didn't catch a little tiny edge right here. I'm going to flip this over and make sure I get this stitched. Because that was right on the edge. I didn't have it pinned good. Let me do one little, this one's stitched, but it's really close, so I don't want it to pull out. Okay, now next what you want to do is you want to just cut off the corners at an angle. That just helps when you are pushing out the corners. There's not so much bulk right in there. So anytime you're making a pillow, just cut those corners, just cut it right off. Okay, trim my threads, and then we'll go ahead and turn it right side out. So I'm just poking that out with my finger. You can use a point turner, you can use your scissors, but just be careful not to push too hard and actually poke a hole in that corner. Just push this out just a little bit. Okay, so now I am using polyfill, Crafter's Choice. You can get this at any craft store. You can get it at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. I'm pretty sure Michael's has it. And so I just pull out a big wad and I do this to kind of fluff it up. And you want to put it in the corners first and kind of fill those corners really good. So I'm just placing it in the corners. Just grab a handful, kind of fluff it out a little bit. It does kind of make a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. And I'm just using my finger just kind of get those corners filled really good, and then I'll kind of fill across the top, and then I'll do my other corners. You just want to kind of fill it in really good so that it doesn't look lumpy. Now you can also use a pillow insert, but this is a little bit of an odd size we were doing, so I just decided to use this polyfill. So now I'm going to place this in the bottom corners and get those filled in nicely. Okay, the corners are filled in good. Now I'll kind of do my sides and then start filling the center. And I'm just kind of, you can see, just kind of pushing it in there and filling it each side. That way it doesn't feel like there's an open hole or something. This is also why you want to leave a decent amount opening so you can get your hand in there and fill it in nicely. Okay, got my sides and corners done really well, and now I'm just going to grab a big chunk, start doing the center. Getting there, feels nice and tight. And just keep filling it out. There's no right or wrong. I want this to look full. You know, if you don't want it as puffy, you certainly don't have to put as much in there. I'm just trying to make sure it looks nice and filled out. I'm gonna put a little bit more down here, and I think that'll do it. So now we have this opening that we need to close, and I'm just going to tuck in the bottoms. Just fold in that edge and put some pins in it. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can hand sew it and do a little blind stitch. I personally do not like to do any hand sewing if I don't have to. So I'm just going to put this on the machine and do a little top stitch right on the edge, because this is going to be the bottom of the pillow, and for the most part, you know, that's not really going to be seen because of the way the pillow will be sitting. And I'm just getting that raw edge kind of rolled in there. Show you what I'm doing in just a second. Okay, so you can see right there, I've just got my little pins. I am going to put this on the sewing machine. You kind of have to manhand it a little bit. You want to kind of press it down. Now on my sewing machine, I'm going to move my needle over, kind of as if you were doing a zipper. I'm going to move it over. And then I'm going to just kind of press this right in here. Now you kind of have to hold the pillow because you've got all this puffiness. I'm going to put my needle down, and I'm going to take a few stitches. I'm going to do a little bit of back stitching to hold it in there. and then I will stitch all the way across. Now I've just got a little edge, so I got to be careful to make sure that I am catching the top and the bottom, so I'm going to hold this really well. Now the writing on this is, the printing on here has got kind of a slight texture to it, so it's not wanting to sew under there quite as smoothly, so I'm going to pull on it just a tiny bit. Pulling out my pins as I come up to them, and then making sure it stays lined up, just holding it with my other hand. Trim my threads. Now you can see we have that sewn closed right there, and our pillow is finished. So that is how you put together a t-shirt pillow. It's really how you put together any pillow. It's just cut the size that you need and just determine if you're using a pillow insert or not. But if you're doing the polyfill, you don't have to worry about it because you're going to make it as snug. If you are using a pillow insert, you don't want to cut it much bigger than the actual insert itself. So if you're using a 16-inch insert, then you only want to cut the material 16-inch because you want to have it'll pull it in when you have your seam allowance and make it really tight on the pillow form itself. And some pillow forms may not be quite as full as they say they are. The pillow forms from Walmart are a little bit cheaper, but sometimes they're not quite as puffy or have the stability of some of the other ones. So you definitely want to, just cut exactly what you need. So I hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial on making a t-shirt pillow. If you're following us on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you can continue to follow us. You can hit the little bell to get notified anytime we have a new video. And be sure to check out our other online classes on our website, SoCuteByKatie.com. We have our sewing club that we do a monthly project. And then we have some other step-by-step videos for t-shirt quilts and pajama pants. So check it out. Thanks for watching.